Alright everybody, welcome back. Today we have Gun Gripes episode 21, and in this episode we're going to discuss why do people hate Glocks, Barry?
I don't know. I used to be a Glock hater years and years ago. I've carried 1911s, Berettas, all kind of pistols, Browning high powers, but I've been shooting Glocks since 1985, and that's what I'm carrying today.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I carry a Glock too, and you know, I just don't get it. Why people don't like Glocks? I mean, they're compact, they're accurate, they are dependable.
Yes, they are. Super dependable.
They are extremely well made. You can carry plenty of them on your person at all times.
That is correct. I've heard every excuse though. They don't look good. They're ugly. They don't feel right in my hand. They're trying to correct that with the Gen 4 Glock with the little grip inserts, but I carry a Gen 2. I prefer that gun, and if you have a Gen 1, it's a pebble grip all around, and you can sell a Gen 1 Glock for about $750. Collectors want those.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why people don't like Glocks. You can take a Glock that's 25 years old and take it over to Glock, and they will upgrade that gun for free. They do all the upgrades on it. A Glock armor can go through this gun in about 3 minutes, and they can replace every part in this gun if necessary, and they do it for free.
Yeah, and in the world of aftermarket parts for the Glock, this is my 26. This is one that my actual carry gun that I use, and this particular one I upgraded with a ghost trigger, real nice lightweight trigger, a front sight post that's got fiber optic in it, and a fully adjustable rear sight, and you can accomplish all that for little to no money. The nice thing about Glock parts is that they are inexpensive, they're easy to install, and like Barry said, especially if you live in Georgia like we do,
we're 20 miles from Glock.
We're 20 miles from Glock. So overall, I would say that, you know, I can say with most certainty that Glock is probably the single most best pistol you can buy. If you're only going to have one handgun, they're excellent. This
is the AK-47 of handguns, some people call it.
Right.
Now, I worked with a guy here who was on Atlanta SWAT team for 25 years, and he retired. He shot 17 people in that length of time, and he said if he had to get one gun and run with it, it would be a Glock 19 9mm. And you have plenty of these with you.
That's right.
33 rounds, folks, and it'll fit in any Glock. It'll go in the baby Glock, the mama Glock, and the papa Glock.
And we're actually going to be running this my Glock 26 this Sunday with the bump stick, and you'll see just how well these things run. I've got probably 5,000 rounds of 9mm I've put through this gun without a single malfunction. And I just don't understand why people down Glocks.
Well,
they got good triggers on them, they got a good feel to them, and they're utterly dependable. What's not to like about that?
Well, if you watch the video that's called Range Fun, where Chad was shooting this gun off the bump stick, the only time this gun did not function for Eric is when he ran black powder rounds through it.
And then sometimes it would function.
Sometimes it would function. Now, when he re-Duracoated, you did the frame and the slide, didn't you?
Yeah, I Duracoated everything.
That's a real nice combination right there.
Yeah.
Kind of a nice green.
Yeah. We'll get a close-up of that in a moment. That gun.
We'll get a close-up of that.
And this particular Glock 20 belongs to my son. That's a 10mm. He likes that a lot. I've got a couple of the 9mm, 10mm. I do have a 40 caliber Glock, and they're wonderful guns. I've shot them in every different caliber. Chad, the other fellow you see on our videos there, he actually uses the Glock 38, which is a compact 45 gap. He likes that cartridge just fine. It's nice and accurate for him. Chad also has a 26, shoots quite well. So generally across the board, I mean, we're definitely Glock guys.
Yes.
It's not a beauty contest. It's not about which gun looks the best. But overall, I would say that Glock pistol, I mean, we're not kissing Glock's ass, but they're definitely good guns.
I'm telling you what they are.
And if they didn't deliver the goods, I wouldn't carry them.
I wouldn't be carrying one. I'd still be carrying my old 1911, which I love. I still love a 1911, but for me, this is the better weapon to carry.
That's correct.
They're just indestructible guns, and like I said, you can drive your Glock out to Glock in Smyrna. They clean it for free, and they do it while you wait on it. You can hand them an old Glock and they'll rebuild it while you wait on it. You might have to wait 40 minutes, but they hand it back and they say, "Thank you, sir." The service at Glock is unparalleled.
Absolutely.
This is actually a tool that shoots bullets. Gaston Glock was not a gun designer, he was a tool maker. And when the Austrian army needed a gun, he built them one. And they've been carrying it ever since.
You know, the interesting thing about Glock and their model numbers, you know, we get a lot of questions about that. Well,
Right.
you know, what makes a Glock a 17? What makes it a 26? That is the line of production, that's the number of inventions. So
Right.
26 is the 26th invention that Glock had.
26 patent.
26 patent, that's correct.
People think a Glock 17 is a model 17 because it holds 17. No, it just so happens that it was his 17th patent.
Just a coincidence.
Just a coincidence.
I'll tell you what though, I mean, one of my favorite guns overall, you get you a nice old Gem 1 Pebble Grip 9mm 17 or 19, and that's the only gun you'll ever need.
I do gun classes with people, and when they show up with a Pebble Grip first gen Glock, that son of a gun still shoots fine. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter how beat up it is. It can have a road rash all over it, whatever. The dang thing functions.
And they will continue to function. Now, a few downsides on the Glock. And this is all subjective. It just depends on your overall opinion. But when I first got into shooting Glocks, see, I grew up kind of in the country, and I grew up shooting 1911s. The only handguns I was exposed to growing up, you know, were a couple of old World War II vintage 1911s.
Right.
That's what I learned to shoot pistols on. So going from a 1911, which is a nice crisp single action, beautiful trigger, wonderful setup, fits the hand perfectly, it's hard to, you know, go to something like this after you're used to using a 1911 for so long. It did take me a while to kind of accept the Glock. Once you get used to the way it fits your hand, once you get used to the short reset of the trigger, you know, it's got that little bit of reset. Once you get used to just letting off the trigger that little bit until it resets, and then gently squeezing back, you get used to that concept, and they're very accurate and just very shootable guns, you know. I know the safe action trigger system does take some people a little bit of getting used to, and that's some of the qualms about it. But overall, I would say it's a minor setback. It's something you can train yourself
Right.
to properly do.
80% of all law enforcement in the United States carries a Glock, so they're not going to give them an unsafe weapon.
That's right.
So, you know,
Yep.
a Glock.
You can train somebody on that gun, how to use it, maintain it, take care of it, and just about be an armor on the thing in 48 hours.
It is what it is.
That's correct.
When you go to the Glock Armor School, it takes you 8 hours to go through the school.
That's right.
And all you need to take a Glock all the way down is one punch, one pin. That's it. There's one right there. That's a Glock Armor's kit right there.
Right there on my keychain.
That is an Armor's kit.
And what's funny is that with this this tool on my keychain, I use it for disassembling my Glock, but at the same time, I find more so that I use this for a ton of just useful little jobs around the shop. I mean, for prying things open. This is a great little tool to have on your keychain, whether you like Glocks or not. Yeah, like Ray said, you can pick your nose with it. I'd suggest not doing that, but anyway, you know, the gun gripe is, you know, people hate on Glocks. They don't ever give any good reasons.
No.
I can understand it may not fit your hand. I can understand not liking the trigger, maybe even the sights. But past that, there is no reason not to like a Glock.
I had a police officer come in the other day carrying a Glock 22, which all of them carry, the 40
Right.
caliber, and I said, "How you like that Glock?" He said, "I hate it." Why? I don't know. It shoots every time.
Yeah.
So you know, there's nothing like a 1911 if you want to punch bullseyes with something like that. There's nothing more satisfying than that. But this is, you can take this gun and load it and throw it under the seat of a truck and go back a year from now, and the thing will function fine.
That's right.
You can't do that with some of these other guns.
And one thing about Glocks that have really sold me over the years also is the fact that the high cap mags are not a joke.
Right.
They work, they're functional, you can rely on them, you can trust your life with them.
Right.
And Glock is the only brand of pistol that I know of that actually has factory high cap mags that they put their name on and actually say it works.
And to show you how good these are, look at all the other guns that are built around this magazine. That J&R carbine is built around this magazine, and that's a great little gun.
Kel-Tec subfolder.
The Kel-Tec subfolders and everything. They're built around this magazine because it is reliable.
That's correct.
And it's indestructible.
So what I challenge you all to do, if you hate Glocks and you're watching this video and you're going, those guys are just dumb, they don't know what they're talking about. Well, that's fine. Everyone's entitled to opinion.
Right.
Tell us why you don't like Glocks, and we'll entertain your opinion. I mean, we're we're not unimpressionable.
No.
Tell us why you hate Glocks. And if you come up with enough good reasons, maybe we'll make another gripe about it.
The only way you can learn is to keep an open mind.
That's correct.
And if there are people that their mind is shut tight to this weapon. Mine was for years. And I went to the Glock Armor School and I learned how they make this gun. And I can tell you right now, this is one of the most indestructible, dependable weapons on the earth.
For years, I was a member of the 1911 only persuasion.
Right.
45 or nothing.
Right.
And, you know, granted, yes, I love 45. A Glock 21 is an excellent gun if you've got to have a 45.
Right.
But once you understand the virtues of the pistol for what they are and get used to the Glock, I think most people will find that there's really no other gun to have. If you're only going to have one gun, it should be a Glock.
It should be a Glock.
Unless this week's great.
That's right.
We got some good ones coming up, so if y'all like these, stay tuned. We got a few good ones.
All right.